We today all became refuseniks because things that you always had, that people in this country, born in this country, people who came as children, had freedom to do as they please. You know, it is hard to explain what it means not to have your basic needs met, what it means to fight for simple things like freedom. I mean, it's not a simple thing. It's an incredible gift given to me by Israeli and American Jewish community. And today we don't have freedom. We all have to fight to remain strong, to remember what life is all about. And the biggest battle we have today is how to defeat fear. I'm 60 years old, and I've been thinking a lot since this whole thing started. What life is really all about? What feelings drive us? And I think there are two main things for women and for men, but especially for mothers. I think the biggest driving force is love of their children. Mothers will do anything, sometimes craziest things, to help to defend their children. And I think the other very, very, very important skill and feeling and ability that American Jews maybe didn't get to exercise as much is defeating fear, conquering fear. And I've been thinking a lot about that now that we're dealing with this pandemic. Anybody could get sick. In the beginning, we thought that if you were, older, if you had underlying condition, if you travel to China, people get sick randomly. We can lose our loved ones. And it is so easy to be terrified and say, you know what? This is all about me. I'm scared, I'm concerned, I'm worried, and I should only care about my family, my needs, forget about other people who need help, forget about Israel. And to me, seeing JNF and people who took care of Israel before the pandemic started every day, rise up, really rise up, and putting needs of Israelis first, showed me that as a Jewish community, we thrive because genetically, we know how to conquer fear and how to put ideas and well-being of others first. I was a refusenik for 10 years. And 10 years, every single day, the reality of my life was that there was no safe haven. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to go where you could, for 1 minute, feel safe. Even when I was asleep, I had nightmares about KGB arresting me, once I got married, arresting my husband, taking away my child. Aliyah and Michal will tell you that I'm the most overprotective mother, and I always feel like something's gonna happen to them. If I hear siren of police or ambulance, I'm convinced that they're going towards my children. Because for most of my, not for most of my life, but in the formative years of my life, I had to deal with that fear and with the crippling uncertainty every single day. And it was simply matter of choice. I could choose to give up my desire and desire of Soviet Jews to be free and to live in Israel and to be majority in my own country, um, and then have easier life, safer life, and not to be prosecuted and being really a hunted animal um, every single day of my life. And we're in a time where I think we should allow ourselves to be vulnerable. I'm not going to tell you that I never had doubts, that I was always that person, marching forward, knowing that I'm ready to die for a cause that, yeah, I decided that I would rather be free and give up my life for that. But I often doubt myself. And when I was pregnant with Aliyah after 9 years in refusal, and KGB told me that they were gonna kill me when I would go to a hospital to give birth, um, unless we give up, my husband and I, our pursuit of freedom and our Zionist activities. My husband being one of the most influential Hebrew teachers in St. Petersburg and the Soviet Union. It was about choice, and it was about looking and finding courage every single day, and finding people, finding community to support you. All of the refuseniks would never make it more than a week if we didn't have support of American Jewish community. And that support was felt every single day. And it was so grand and it was so unbelievable that it really, I don't know how today, how is it possible that young people have no idea, and if you tell them Soviet Jewry movement, they have no idea what you're talking about. But those people who took a risk and traveled to former Soviet Union to support refuseniks gave me hope and gave me ability and courage not to give up. I was told, I was 3 months pregnant with Aliyah when I was told that they were gonna kill me when I give birth, which for younger people on the call, I have to explain, because in Soviet Union in 1987, sorry Aliyah, now everyone will know how old you are. Everyone had to go to the hospital. You did not, you couldn't give birth at home. It was illegal. And you were in hospital for a week by yourself. No one was allowed to be with you. And the only way you could communicate was one payphone for entire floor of the delivery hospital. And KGB in 87 really was in charge. And if they went to a hospital, if they went anywhere and they ordered to murder someone, people would do it, because otherwise they would be in huge trouble. And it was a very, very real threat. And I really, till this day, don't know if the choice I made was the right choice. When I look at the wonder that is Aliyah and all the incredible things that she does in life, and I look at her son, her and Ari's son, Zevi, it's a entire string, it's a entire continuation of the family that, if things didn't go right, would be lost. I don't know till this day if that was the right thing to do. I was really, really putting her at tremendous risk. And so many of you are mothers. And since this is about Women's Month, you can only imagine what it was like. And I have to say that I had to make that choice every single day, many times during the day, when KGB found another way to harass us and threaten us and make horror even more vivid. I had to ask myself, am I a fighter? Am I a believer in freedom? Or am I just a zealot, unable to give up and being fixated on this idea when the price obviously is too high? Today, I feel like we make similar choices. And you might say, no, it's nothing like that, but it is. You know, we have to think every day um, what we're gonna do, where we're gonna give, how we're gonna spend our time, how we're gonna spend our money. And the equation didn't change much. What happens to other people in the community? What happens to Israel depends on each of us making the right decision. My life was spared because American Jews put such a pressure on the Soviet government not to kill me in the hospital that they had to come with a plan that was a lot more complicated that they originally had. And the doctor, again, individual versus regimes, individual versus circumstance. One doctor knew perfectly well what would happen if he disobeyed KGB. He could not commit that kind of murder. He could not kill a woman giving birth. I was on the verge of losing consciousness. I was in and out of consciousness. And at the very last moment, he decided to reanimate me, and he saved my life, and he saved life of Aliyah. Just two Jewish girls rescued, saved, given life, given freedom, given dreams, given hopes, ability to tell the story, made by community of Jewish people, and one very brave Russian doctor who lost his job, was exiled from Leningrad. We never were able to find and thank him. And, you know, I often think when I'm asked to speak, especially now, is this relevant? Look what people are going through. People losing their jobs. People lose hope. People lose loved ones. People have family members in the hospital without being able to visit. And I think that we all are survivors. And in order to survive anything, actually, when Jessica and I were thinking about name for this event, I thought calling it How to Survive Everything, because I think after surviving KGB for 10 years and battling 2 cancers, unfortunately, I got a very good training. And what you need to survive is, again, each other, community, some courage, ability to find, harness, and never give up hope, and people who will know even without you telling them that you need a hand, that you need a loving hug, virtual or physical, in order to pull through. And I think if we remember every day that person in the little square on the Zoom call is one of us, is a person who can help us, that together with that person, We can have more dreams and share more dreams. And even in those unprecedented, difficult times, still we can have such tremendous, tremendous impact on the country that I am absolutely confident will come with the cure and vaccine for COVID-19. And probably in return for everything we did for the country, will save us all. I have no doubt. One of the favorite stories I have, very happy stories, is in the 90s, I've been touring United States raising money to resettle Russian Olim in Israel. And I was in LA, I was in Hollywood, and big story, detailed story for another time, but I met Richard Gere. And being Soviet Refusenik, I had no idea who he was. I never saw Pretty Woman. And we had a little friendship. He even gave me a mezuzah because I told him we were moving to a new apartment in Israel. And then I went back to my hotel or home, I don't remember, and I watched Pretty Woman. And Aliyah knows I love, love, love that movie. And at the very end, and women probably love that moment, he asked her, so what did she do when he saved her? Because she always wanted to be saved by a man. And her answer was, she saved him right back. And I think that's the relationship that we all have with each other and with the state of Israel and with amazing organization like Jewish National Fund. We give JNF our time, a lot of it. We give our money, a lot of it. And in return, JNF gives us ability not to be observers and students of history, but write our own page in what happens to Jewish people, to Am Israel and Israel. And I think as long as we have that we have each other, an ability to do things and influence things, we're in control, and we will make the transition from survivors to thrivers, and we'll come on the other side stronger than ever before. And again, as a survivor and as a fighter and somebody who lived through horror and thrived, at least I believe I thrived, all that we took for granted and all that we will have again will be that much sweeter and will make our life that much more beautiful. So to all the women on the call, if you are not members of Women for Israel, join us. The lowest level is $360, and every dollar counts. Trust me, it will be better than if you saved money and bought another pack of toilet paper. That is something that you will always, always be proud of. I've met so many women through JNF who struggle to make that first gift, who today are major donors and give thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every year and never disappoint and enjoy it tremendously. If you can become a high society member, get beautiful necklace in the shape of Israel, and support Israel even on a bigger scale, please do so. I believe, I know you will all receive an email as a follow-up to this call with the link to donate. And if you wanna join our Sapphire Society and donate $5,000, then talk to Myra. she will convince you, she will thank you, she'll make you feel great. Talk to your local JNF professional. I know people here are everywhere in the country, including Birmingham, Alabama, one of the places I love in the United States. I know we have people from Israel. Together we can defeat COVID, and together we can be better than before. And I just want to say toda rabba, thank you. We still have same amount of people as when we started, which is again is incredible to me. To be honest with you, I don't like speaking on Zoom. You know, I'm a kind of person, I look people in the eyes, I feel their energy. I feel that magic of people being together, and that's what makes me want to tell my story and just to have this conversation with my Havra. So I hope this worked. Staring at myself on the screen is not ideal, but I know the time will come. Hopefully very soon we'll be together, we'll be hugging and kissing each other, and we all have a story to tell of how we made through COVID-19 and emerge on the other end as better, more significant people. Thank you so much.
Marina, thank you so much. We have a few questions and we have a few minutes to answer. So if you wouldn't mind. The first question from Beth Ann Katz is, did you and your husband meet because of your activism, or was it one of your more earlier years?
Yes, it was because of our activism. We met at the home of mutual friends who were long-time refuseniks who received permission to leave. And he came to Tbilisi to say goodbye. This is where I lived at the time. And that's how we met. So if I wasn't crazy lunatic, I wouldn't have met my husband. And those who know Lev know that would have been terrible.
Wow. We have a question from Sandy Goldstein. How did you get out of the Soviet Union? Who helped? And where did you live before coming to the US?
For that, we'll need another half an hour, but in many of people on the call I know were part of the Freedom Sunday in Washington, D.C. On December 6, 1987. We, Aliyah, Lev, and I also protested, and all were arrested. Lev was arrested for 2 weeks. Many of the 2-week terms he served in prison. But after he returned from prison, and tremendous pressure was put on Soviet government from especially Ted Kennedy, we all know, senator from Massachusetts, was relentless in putting a lot of pressure on Soviet government after Gorbachev came from negotiating President Reagan. And on the eve of Hanukkah, my husband returned from prison, and on the last day of Hanukkah of 1987, we received permission to leave. It took us a few months to collect all the papers we needed in order to receive exit visa. We landed in Israel on the 40th anniversary of the State of Israel. And as we were landing, my father-in-law, who really went through hell and back many times, looked out of the window and said, it was worth suffering all this time to be greeted like this. And we never told him the fireworks were for the Independence Day and not for us. And we lived 10 glorious years in Ra'anana, best place on earth. If you didn't visit, you have to. We all love it. I was sent to United States as Israel Representative Community Shlicha, and it's another story, how and why we stayed. I blame it on Aliyah. Um, and we've been here for 32 years, and I've been through with JNF for, will be in August, 18 years. So we all have to get together and celebrate my high with JNF, with good herring, good vodka, and maybe some caviar.
Wonderful. And we have one last question from Elise Golden Berkeley. As this is Women's Month at Jewish National Fund, who is your favorite female Zionist that moves you the most?
Golda Meir. I know it's a trivial answer, but the very, very first time when KGB arrested me and harassed me and beat me, they said to me, you know, Golda Meir's family was from Kiev. And there is actually now a monument to Golda Meir in Kiev, believe it or not. And they said to me, you little Jew, you think you're gonna be Golda Meir? You're not gonna Golda Meir, you're gonna be a dead Jew. You know, she was a petite woman, she was tough, she was relentless in her leadership. She didn't care what people thought of her. She had a dream for herself and for the state, and she is my idol. I read every book about her. I saw Golda's balcony with Tova Felcher. And you know what? We have Golda Meir in all of us. If we dig deep enough, we all are Goldas. We just have to believe it.
Well, I have to say, Marina, as always, listening to you is like a gift. You are an incredible woman. Your story is incredible. When we talked about who we would like to have speak during this month, you were top on the list, and it became even more incredible because this Women's Month became about resilience because of what we are all going through. And you are the epitome of resilience for all you have gone through, not just as a Russian Refusenik, but as a woman, as a cancer survivor, as just a human being. You are somebody that we can all hold ourselves up to be. I am so glad to know you and have you be a part of JNF and to be able to call you a friend. Thank you so much. And Aliyah, what a beautiful introduction. I'm sitting here in a room with my daughter, who is a JNF future and a high society member. It's so good to hear such a beautiful mother-daughter relationship that I share with my own daughter. So it's so special to hear you introduce your mother. It was incredible. I'm so glad that we could make it all happen. Thank you. I want to thank everybody. At the height of this, I saw there were 241 participants on here. We had a lot of people, almost 100 people on Facebook Live. So we had somewhere upwards of 350 people listening to Marina speak to herself on a screen. So you did a beautiful job. People didn't want to leave, no matter whether you had the room full of people listening to you so that you could feed off the crowd. So it was great. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us. Before we finish and I let you all go about to your next Zoom meeting so you can be zoomed out, I want to tell you about some more exciting events that are coming up for the month. On May 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, it's Ladies Night Out for JNF Futures 22 to 40. We're having a mixology class. So it's sort of a toast to celebrate women who are age 21 to 40. So don't miss that. On May 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern time, Women for Israel member and Sapphire Society member Debbie Kornberg will lead a virtual cooking class. We're going to learn a few Israeli favorite dishes in honor of Shavuos that's coming up. I've taken Debbie's classes. She's a local here in San Diego. They are incredible. They're a lot of fun. When you click on the on demand, you'll see the recipes so you can buy the different things that you want to be able to cook. So you've got the whole menu there. To register, go visit jnf.org/on-demand, and don't forget that you can participate in the $1 million Women's Month match if you make the gift online at jnf.org/WFI, or you can contact your local professional. And I also want to share with you that there are a lot of tours going on in Israel right now. Now, I know we can't get on a plane right now. We're all sitting in our houses, self-quarantining, you know, under orders. That's all okay. But there are virtual tours going on to Israel. I did one last week. It was a lot of fun. It gives us the opportunity to participate and see Israel in a different way. We are planning one for the women's campaign, so stay tuned for that. We're going to do a Queen of Sheba virtually, so it'll be fun. But please contact your local professional or contact Jessica Milstein. I want to wish everyone to stay well, and I look forward to seeing you all month long on these women's calls. And we're going to celebrate Women's Month. And again, thank you, Jessica and Samantha, for putting this all together. You guys are wonderful and a great help. And thank you again, Marina, for agreeing to be our wonderful speaker today. Stay well, everybody. Take care.